Thrive In Perimenopause Summit. This is your host, Sonal Singhal. Healing takes courage, and all we have courage, and we all have courage, even if we have to dig a little to find out. And courage conquers all things. It even gives strength to the body. Really? You need courage to survive chronic illness. And let me introduce you to such a courageous woman, Crystal Grenier, who is with me as our guest speaker. Crystal not only survived breast cancer, but after her recovery, she's now helping other women thrive despite a chronic illness as an online wellness consultant and coach. She uses her heartfelt guidance in all facets of illness to reclaim your health and restore your vitality using natural modalities. So, welcome, Crystal, to the Thrive in Perimenopause Summit. And breast cancer is something I witnessed closely with my mother, and I lost her because of it. And I'm very happy to see you, and someone like you who could come out of it. And so I'm very much curious to learn every bit about it from you.
Well, thank you so much, Sonal, for having me on your summit. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to other women around chronic illness and perimenopause.
And so, Crystal, I'm sure that it was not easy for you, being in that situation. It must be a struggle. So how was your recovery journey like, and what has helped you the most?
Okay. Do you want me to go back and give a little history about how I found my cancer? Okay. So I'm currently 59 years old. So I'm kind of post-menopause. I'm on the other side of the spectrum of that. And excuse me, I had my hip replaced in 2017, and I found a swollen lymph node in my right armpit, and there wasn't one on the left. I thought it was coming from my hip replacement surgery, but after going to my PA and having an ultrasound and a biopsy, it came back as invasive ductal carcinoma, breast cancer, which I was in total shock because being a fitness instructor and personal trainer for 38 years, eating fairly healthy, I was in awe of where this came from. It doesn't run in my family. As you may know, breast cancer only is 10% or less hereditary. It's not that big of a percentage. Mm-hmm. So I was, like I said, in shock and disbelief on where it came from. And after doing some self-therapy with myself and going back and looking at my life, I lost my father at age 2 in a tragic accident, a half-sister in another tragic accident at 17 in 1986. So all this grief that was never processed personally and in my family. There was a step-family dynamic that wasn't ideal. We had a lot of controversy and negativity and fighting going on all the time. And being the oldest child, I was the control freak, like type A, take control, just do what I need to do to keep things smooth. So I went back and looked at all these factors in my life, and I thought, this is what has caused my cancer, is my emotional stuffing, my overeating of emotions. That's how I was nourishing myself. And I believe that's what made me sick. That's where my cancer came from.
So, and what helped you in your recovery?
So I went through the normal protocol. I did chemotherapy. I did the Red Devil for 4 weeks, and then I did Taxol for 12 weeks. Then I did radiation, 28 rounds of radiation. I had a nipple sparing mastectomy surgery. So they were able to take out some breast tissue on the right side, 9 lymph nodes on the right side. 8 of them had cancer. And then there was 2 more right under my shoulder blades that were lighting up after a PET scan that were still cancerous. So that's when we decided to not operate again, but just try to kill it with chemo and the radiation, and it worked. So once I got through the surgery, the treatments, then I really honed in on okay, it's time to really hone in on my health because I do not want to experience this again. So I found this product online. It's called Your Super. So it's superfoods. And I decided to do a 5-day detox just to kind of clean and cleanse my body out of the chemotherapy, which I don't know if you know this, Sonal, but it's chemotherapy stays in your body for a year or two after you get done with it.
These are toxins.
It takes a while to push it out. So doing the detox, I wanted to like physically feel better. My hair was starting to grow back. And I just wanted to feel and look better for me, which I did. And then I started focusing on, okay, what can I eat nutritionally to help me, to help me stay healthy. And that's where my wellness consulting and coaching came in, with 3 pillars that I focus on to help women over 40 to thrive despite having a chronic illness. So I use nutrition as one of my emotional healing pillars, movement, and then emotional alchemy, which I'll touch on all 3 of those. So nutrition wise, when you look at perimenopause, your estrogen levels decline and then inflammation rises. So you need to really focus on eating foods that fight inflammation, that are anti-inflammatory, because as those hormones drop, the inflammation is what causes chronic illness. So eating like fruits, vegetables, a high fiber diet. Of course, you're drinking your water and keeping yourself hydrated is huge. Broccoli and cauliflower helps actually with the hot flashes and the night sweats. So if you eat the cruciferous vegetables. And back then, as we were talking about before we went on air, I was unaware of all these things. Like I didn't even think about diving into what we're talking about today and what you are diving into with your summit. There was just no awareness. There was no lack of knowledge. There wasn't research, I think, that really focused on this movement and this transformation of women moving from one phase of their life to the next, so they could know how to handle it. So they're aware and they have choices to hone in on staying healthy. A lot of times I think we are quick to take a hormone replacement therapy. Some women may have to. I never did a hormone replacement therapy. I just kept moving, going through my motions, with my exercise and my fitness and my food. It's a lot better now. I went vegan about almost 2 years ago, and I feel awesome. And that's not for everybody, but
I think in America, it's a good choice to make because milk is not that great.
No, we have very bad eating habits here. And I read about that a lot, like the countries, where you're from, how maybe I like to look at the Ayurveda type of lifestyle. So that's kind of what I've been trying to follow and advocate under my pillars. And so with the nutrition component, just focusing, yes, on your diet, like what you're eating, is huge. And when I was personal training, 80% of what you eat is weight loss. I mean, they think it's working out and pumping iron, but it's actually your food intake. Movement is huge for de-stressing and staying strong. So you want to find, some type of exercise that you like to do. Maybe it's outside walking in nature. Maybe it's lifting weights, building that bone density and that muscular strength is a huge benefactor in decreasing inflammation or decreasing inflammation as well. And so finding what you like. Tai Chi.
Basically, if we talk about perimenopausal women, so if you pay attention to our changing hormones in perimenopausal phase, what potential chronic diseases we can avoid?
Which ones can you avoid? Fibromyalgia, cancers, dementia, cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, poor gut health. Gut health is a huge thing right now with the microbiomes and gut
health.
health.
Yeah. Gut health. I have a lot of speakers on that.
That's a big thing right now. Like
Yeah.
figuring out your microbiomes and what's going on, and because your gut is like another brain. You have a brain up here, but you have a brain down here.
Yeah, we have three brains. Yeah.
Yes. So you got to feed them all the right way, right?
But gut is the main brain. Gut is our main brain.
The gut is our main brain?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's the center of our chakras, you know, how our chakras, our bodies lined up. So that's that sacral area. I don't know. It's just, I'm just throwing that out there.
I have read a couple of books on that, but yeah, gut is the main brain. I mean, because, you know, if anything happens in our gut, it affects our all brains. So gut is the main brain. And there are some experiments also done by some scientists which proves that. Even if you're brain dead, you know, they are saying, because when we refer to our brain, we talk about our logical brain. But even if we are brain dead, our gut brain is still operating. They have done some experiments.
And then what you're putting into it, that's, you know, mixing it all up in there.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm used to being a logical thinker. I was kind of raised that way, like, okay, you do this. Okay. And I never question anything. Like I would just do what people suggested because it was the right thing to do. So I love now that we as women, we're stepping out of that patriarchy and we're taking our feminine power, you know, like our femininity and how we can empower other women to be aware and make those choices for ourselves. You know, every woman is different, as you know. We all can't have the same remedy that works for everybody, right? So I may like to do a different exercise than you do, or I may like to eat different foods than you do. Just as long as we are following some type of regime that focuses on keeping us healthy and healing. So
do you still follow certain type of regime?
The exercise?
Not the exercise, food also.
Yes. Like I told you, I went vegan. It'll be 2 years this fall. So yes, I don't eat any meat, no dairy. Everything's plant-based for me. So I eat plant-based foods, oils. I use oils a little bit. Fruits, vegetables, tofu, tempeh. So I find other protein sources for me. And then I utilize those superfoods that I was talking to you about, those powders. I still use those. So I make shakes. That's what this is. This is a shake that has some of the superfoods in there. And they have a moon balance, which is a hormonal balance organic powder. So I try to use that every day. And then there's plant collagen is another huge one, as you know, because our skin starts to get dry and we need the collagen to kind of keep us plump.
Keep it elastic. Elastic, maybe.
Elasticity, yes. So yeah, I really focus on my food a lot and what I'm putting in my body.
With your clients, and even with your clients, you suggest them?
Yes. And what I do with my clients is we would do it's a guided offer on a bigger scale, but like a 90-minute consult. So we would dive deep into what's happening with her and what is she currently eating? What is she currently doing under these pillars that I advocate? And maybe, you know, see what she's allergic to and just kind of figure out a path for her to take or a journey that's going to work for her, that she can stick to, you know, that she's not going to get discouraged and go, oh my gosh, this is too hard. I can't do this. So it's just figuring out, you know, where she currently is and where we can take her one step at a time. And then still, because it's a lifetime change. It's a lifetime change. I mean, when I was personal training women and or men, you know, people think that losing 20 pounds is a quick fix. Like you can do it in a month. You can't. I mean, if you put this weight on after, you know, a year, it's going to take time to take it off. You can't just pop a pill. And I think that's what a lot of the women in our society think, that they want it to happen fast. But
quick fix.
And when they slowly are doing these things to jeopardize their health over years, they want it to happen now to fix it, and you can't. It's a process. You have to, and that way, once you start to do it and you do it a lot and all the time, then it becomes a routine. Like, it's just easy to do.
So Crystal, you have a three recovery. I mean, you have a chronic illness recovery program. I think that's your signature program.
Yes.
And you are saying chronic illness recovery. But I wonder, I mean, can the same approach be used for healing the symptoms of perimenopausal women?
Okay, Sonal, you kind of broke up right there. What did you say? I'm sorry.
I'm just asking you. I'm asking you. Your signature program is focusing on chronic illness recovery. So can the same program be used for perimenopausal women?
Oh, definitely. Like I was touching on the nutrition part of it, the nourishment, what foods to eat, you know, what to bring to your plate every day. The movement part of it, the movement component, you know, resistance training, keeping that muscular strength up and the bone density, because as we also start to lose that estrogen, our muscle mass goes down as well as our bone density. You know, that starts to decrease as well. So finding some type of exercise program that works for you, some type of movement pattern that you can do every day. And then moving into the emotional alchemy side of it, that is a self-awareness. That is taking time for yourself. I think women, a lot of us, and I talked about this in my past, and I was doing this in adulthood, we are the control freaks. We like to take control of everything because I think we're put there. Like, we're the mom, you know, we got the job, we have the, you know, we have the PTA, you know, you have all these activities and events you do, plus you have to be in those all these roles, and you have to feel like you need to succeed in every one of them, or you're not that great of a person or a woman, like you're failing in some way. So the emotional alchemy component is taking time for you. Like, do you have a hobby? Can you designate other things to other people to do for you, so you're not taking it all on yourself? That was hard for me because I'm a yes person. So I was constantly saying, yes, 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 I'll do that. Sure. Okay. Because I think I wanted that love. I was externally looking for love all the time and appreciation for what I do, because I never got it at home. You know, from my mom, which, God rest her soul, she passed away in 2020 of heart congestive failure. So I was constantly externally seeking. And then once I went through breast cancer and started doing this coaching, and I worked through a coach as well, and this kind of came out that it's in here. Your happiness is in here. It's not out there. So really coming in tune with who I am and processing my grief. I did talk to a therapist and kind of work through that a little bit, that I need to be happy with who I am and love me for me. And I'm not the same person. We talked about this before. When you go through a chronic illness, especially cancer, you're not the same me. So I've had to learn to accept me as I am now. And that's why I'm passionate about sharing it with other women, because it is a good place to be. And you can find it, and then you can stay, you know, continue to heal and stay healthy and stay on that path without falling back off the wagon and getting something else, like having it metastasize in another place of your body. Again, finding support, you know, though I'm talking about the emotional alchemy part of it. Find someone to help you, like me, you know, or like you. Like we are here to support women that are in these positions and places of getting through perimenopause, because they're experiencing all these symptoms and they're like freaking out and they don't know what to do. And we need to find a place to accept it and just flow with it, because you're taking a step from this part of your life to a maturity place. It's a transformation. It's all part of being a woman. And instead of fighting it, instead of fighting it and saying, oh my God, I'm having a hot flash. I feel like blah, blah, blah. You know, find a way to hone in and move through it. You know, breath work, breathing is huge. Planning for these lifestyle changes, like figuring out what works for you to get you from point A to point B. Like we said, I think our society, our females in our society have been educated to just pop a pill, or, you know, whatever's prescribed to them, they just do it because they don't want to find out how to make a choice.
Band-aid approach, you know, they just want some quick band-aid, quick fix.
Right. Because I think maybe they're scared. Maybe they're, who knows what their emotions are that are leading into this.
No, they are not aware. They are not aware of the emotions most of the time. We are conditioned like that. Okay, so you have a headache, take this pill.
Yeah.
Maybe you're having headache because you have not taken rest.
Right. Or maybe do some deep breathing. Can I share something that happened to me like a couple weeks ago? So I woke up and I had this sharp pain on the left side of my head. Like it was a piercing, you know, I've never had migraines before in my life, a migraine headache. So I couldn't figure out what it was. Second day, kind of the same thing on and off. So I start kind of going back and thinking what I've been doing. Well, I'm a very bad woman because I stay up late watching TV, right? That's my downtime. So I turn it on, you know, like by 9:30 and I watch till like 11:30. And then I go shower and then I go to bed. So then I'm going back thinking all this stimulus in my head, this blue, you know, this phone and TV obviously is affecting my sleep. You know, I sleep pretty good. I don't know what your sleep's like with your perimenopause. Do you get up all the time or right now?
No,
are you up and down?
I'm very good with sleep. You know, if I get sleep, if I'm sleepy, nobody can stop me. I'm like, I'm a very natural person. I'm very sensitive, and you know, I'm vegetarian and I don't drink coffee, tea, anything. But if I by mistake, because I like the taste of tea and coffee, if I have even like little bit of it, I'm done for the day. You know, it's difficult for me to fall asleep.
I usually just do like 1 cup of tea a day. And I gave up coffee because I did a gut health test a couple of years ago, and I'm supposed to avoid coffee or caffeine, and I love coffee. So I'm on the hunt for organic coffee because I just love the taste of it and the smell of it. So I'm on a mission with that. But I'm going to go back. What was I talking about? So I'm going to go back to sleep. So then I go to a naturopath doctor as well, a naturopath. So there's a gal here in town that does the same kind of testing that my naturopath does in South Dakota. So I went and it got tested just to see if I had COVID or some other flu was happening in my body. Everything was fine. She gave me headache drops. And then I went and got adjusted. I go to the chiropractor. So these are all obviously awesome things that you can do for perimenopause as well, because you're doing holistic methods and modalities of taking care of yourself. I went and got adjusted. My neck was locked up a little bit, so that was helpful. And then just started to not watch no TV at night. So I cut that out and just take my shower, go to bed, read my book for a little bit, and go to sleep. And after a week of doing these headache drops and following this regime that I set up for myself, much better. No headaches.
That's
so nice. I don't know if it was a type of migraine. I don't know, but I kind of
if you just go after that migraine thing, it can be a problem. But if you just ruled out things, you know, because you were being mindful, you know, what I was doing, you know, continuously, it might have triggered this, and so that's
right.
How.
And I also got my eyes checked because it's been 2.5 years since I've had my eyes checked. So I thought, oh, maybe I need a new prescription because I just wear glasses for reading and my computer work. So yes, I had that awareness to go back and see what I was doing and see if I changed it, if it would affect my headache or this pain that I was getting in my head. So that's what's awesome about educating these women, you know, especially with perimenopause, is what symptoms are you feeling? What are you experiencing? What emotions are you feeling also? And how can you approach them on a holistic level instead of, like we talked about, popping a pill to make it go away? Because it's going to come back and you're going to have to take another pill, right? So if you can find a holistic path or a method that works for you, through support, obviously, because maybe you're, Google sometimes is not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Like when I got my cancer, they said, do not Google. And I did. I'm like, okay, swollen lymph node in the armpit, could be breast cancer, could be cancer. They say not to do that. So, but we didn't have that back in my day when I went through it, with the internet. We didn't have that capability at our hands to Google everything and see what was wrong with you. So it could be a good thing, but it could be a bad thing, because it diagnoses you.
Yeah, you never know, I mean, it depends. If you meet a wrong diagnosis, then you get there.
Then you're scared and you're like, oh my God, I've got this. And here's my husband. He's like, maybe you have a brain aneurysm. I'm like, you're not helping. Why would you say that? Oh, then and my husband's not, we are like opposites. Okay. He's like, maybe you need to go to a doctor. So that was what he told me. And I'm like, no, I'm trying my things first. If they still are there and I can't get to the root of the problem, then yes, I will go get an MRI to see if I have a brain aneurysm, or a tumor or something. But yeah.
So
So
Crystal, there are several conventional treatments available for treating chronic illnesses and even for treating perimenopausal symptoms, for example, HRT, and all these things, I think they are just putting someone on a long life prescription.
Yes, I agree.
So, and they're already been made to believe that there is no road for recovery. So this is some type of conditioning is happening there. So what words of advice would you like to give to such people, who are fed up with the side effects of conventional treatment methods?
So what advice would I like to give instead of following traditional methods okay. The advice I would like to give is, well, the first thing when you're going through menopause is your cycle stops, right? And then you start to feel the symptoms, or it gets spotty or irregular. So once you obviously know that, you know what's going to come, you know what you're going to experience. I would suggest seeking support, seeking a coach, a consultant, someone that can help you figure out a path and a journey for you on how to take control of your emotions and your symptoms that you're going through on a holistic level first, before running to your doctor, which they don't spend maybe 5 minutes with you and write a prescription and throw you out the door. You need to find someone that understands you and what you're going through, because again, you might be experiencing different symptoms than I would have been experiencing, and you're going to need a different protocol. You're going to need a different regime to help you get from point A to point B, and then make that transition smooth. So my advice is to find someone that can support you.
Sometimes even talk therapy works.
What was that?
I'm saying sometimes even talking to somebody heals you.
Yes, because like I've been there, I've been through it. If you go to a male doctor, have they been through menopause? No. I mean, maybe they have, and I don't know if men have menopause, but I don't know. But yeah, just finding somebody that you can relate to, that you can connect with, and so you can talk about your emotions and your feelings and what you're eating and how you're moving and how you can incorporate these differences, if you're not doing them in your life, to help you transition better. So those hot flashes aren't so bad, or those night sweats, or whatever other symptoms. I know that's the two main ones that you experience with perimenopause, but the anger,
brain fogginess is there, fatigue is there. Yeah.
Crankiness. Like I remember being cranky a lot, like, to
also
the family.
Memory loss, short-term memory.
Oh my gosh, girl. it just stays. It's still there sometimes. I mean, I have to write things down.
Urinary incontinence is there, you know.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Very
So there's many things that, and then again, whoever you are reaching for support, if they don't know what an answer or what to do, then you can reach out, you know, then the person that's supporting you can reach out and maybe get help too from another person to bring into that.
And I think that way, so many Facebook groups for perimenopausal women are there on Facebook. I think they also help because you can find so many practitioners there.
True. Yeah. That is true. Sometimes though, like personally, I've joined these groups, you know, to kind of find out more what they need to kind of like, not really promote my business because you can't do that, but just to kind of reach in and see what resonates. But sometimes these groups get overwhelming with me because I feel like they're in there just like a person will say something like, oh, I have this, this is what I did. And then everybody's like, oh, what did you do? What did you buy? So then again, you have one person.
It's like a renting platform.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, well, it works for her. Maybe it'll work for me. Well, how do you know that?
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're talking about, it's not, you can't have the same prescription for everybody or the same fix or the same remedy for everybody. So
like Googling, you have pros and cons of having these groups.
Yes. Okay. So finally I had to step out of some of them because I was so overwhelmed. I was just like, I can't. And then you're trying to read all the notifications and but that might be a good place to start for somebody that's, you know, not familiar with it. Like they want that kind of support too. Like they just want someone to hear them. They want to be heard.
Yeah.
But if you really want help, I feel that's not the place to find somebody unless you hone in on one person, like you said. Like there might be a doctor in there or somebody that they resonate with that they can reach out to. So
that's right.
Yeah.
So, you know, like many of our wonderful speakers to our VIP audiences, Crystal is giving an amazing offer. And let's check from her the details about it.
So so we're going to talk about the guided offer. The
for the VIP audience.
The VIP offer. Okay. So in the VIP offer, what I would like to bring forth is 6 weeks of coaching and consulting. And that would include 2 to 3 Zoom calls. First of all, we'd also have a consult up front to kind of see where you're at, what you're dealing with, find out about you so we know how to move forward. Then every 2 weeks, I would include one of my pillars. So the first 2 weeks, we would talk about nutrition and nourishment. And that can be on a food level, excuse me, or it can be other types of nourishment, like looking at the whole person, the well-being of the person, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, the self. So we would focus on the well-being first and then talk about the nourishment, nutrition part, what to bring in for your diet as health. And the second 2 weeks would be focusing on movement. What can you really hone in on for movement that works for you, that you like to do? And then the last 2 weeks would be the emotional alchemy part. So how do you take your movement and your food and how can you transition with your emotions to come out on the other side and then keep walking down this path of health and healing to get you through perimenopause, to get you through those symptoms. And then stay on that path because you got more coming. You got menopause and you got postmenopause. So it's, you know, it's like, you got the peri.
There is no end. But I think if you go holistic way, maybe you settle down somewhere, you know, you accept yourself and you are okay with that, I think.
Yes, definitely. And you're aware, we help create that awareness and the choices that are available to help you heal, to help you stay away from chronic illness while you're going through perimenopause.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. So, you know, I must say that, you know, whatever you're offering, it's really worth a try. And especially if somebody is fed up with the conventional treatments and exploring holistic ways to recover. So please check out the link below this video to avail this offer. And It was really great talking to you. And after meeting with you, I feel more inspired to take care of my body in a holistic manner. And I'm sure our listeners would feel the same way. So thank you so much for coming over and showing us that it is never too late to care for oneself. And there are so many natural ways out there to recover. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonal, for having me. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.